Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jacob Weisenberger, if you don't know me, and I'm a guitar instructor. Today, we're going to talk about the right hand position for the classical guitar. Let's get into it. The right hand position is one of the most important things for the classical guitar, and if you have a good one, a good right hand position, you will be able to execute a clear and powerful tone on the guitar. When it comes to the right hand, many professional guitar players have right hand fingernails to act as little picks on their hand to attack the strings. However, you do not need them. There are many players that do not have them, such as Brandon Acker. However, if you are uncomfortable or cannot produce nails, like real nails on your hand, you are able to use some of the acts as nails, such as press-on nails, or if you can see on my thumb, I have a ping pong ball underneath the nail, which acts as a longer nail for the thumb. So that's a good way to have a non-real nail act as a nail slash pick for your hand. To find your good right hand position, you must first have a good, correct sitting position posture, which is a direct quote from the great Andres Segovia. And if you do not know how to sit correctly, please go check out the video down below by me. I made a video on sitting position. Please go check that out. We're gonna get our guitar and we're gonna sit naturally. And what we're gonna do is bring our arm over the guitar and let our forearm rest on the guitar and let the weight fall. And we're just gonna let our wrist fall naturally. Just let it fall and feel like natural. For me, it's about right here. This feels very natural to me. If I let it fall too far, it's gonna just like flop around. So we gotta find a good spot where it's nice and comfortable. And then what I want you to do is I want you to put your thumb on the fourth string, right here. Your I finger, which is your index, on the third string. Your M, which is your middle finger, on the second string. And your A, which is the ring finger, on the first string. So it should look something like this. And now, the way to go about this is you're gonna have your wrists not too tall and not too short away from the guitar. You're gonna have it about 5 inches away from the top of the guitar. It depends on how long your hands are. My hands are not that long, as you can see. And we're going to bring our thumb away from our fingers like this. And it's gonna make a little triangle away from this. And when we put it on the strings, it'll look like this. You can see I have a little triangle, a little gap between my fingers. And my fingers are kind of tilted towards the neck. This is so your thumb, if I put my thumb behind my fingers, my thumb is always gonna hit my index finger. But if we spread it out like this, it's gonna go through and not touch, and my I finger can go the other way. So it will not cause friction between the two. Now we have a gap in our right hand position with a triangle, and our thumb is away from our fingers. This is how it should look when you are resting your hand upon the strings. When you're not playing anything, you're just sitting here, just resting. The first way to strike a string or pluck a string is called apoyando, or rest stroke. And what that looks like is, if you look at my hand, we're going to use our I finger, and we're going to move our hand position back towards us a little bit, to where our knuckle is kind of adjacent, perpendicular to the string. And instead of, because some people want to pluck upward, but we don't want to do that. We want to push into the string because we want the string to vibrate like this across the top. So we need to push down, and we're going to use this thing called back flexing, which is when your fingertip joint right here is going to move like this. So if I move my tip joint around, the string, if this is the string, we're going to push it like this. So another example of this would be, and this, I got this from Bill Cannengeiser. If I scoot back here, think of this as your big finger, and this is the string. What you're gonna do is you're gonna push in, and your finger is gonna tip like this, and it's gonna follow into the next string. So if I get my guitar out, scoot up a little bit, and you see my finger, I'm going to use the lumbrical knuckle, or the big knuckle, right here, to move my finger like this, not this way, just up and down like this, right? And we're going to push in, and we're going to, you see me from the side, back flex and follow through into the next string. So if I push it up here, you should see my finger, and it would push down like that. So we're going to push down our finger. We're going to push our finger with our lumbrical knuckle, and we're going to push down into the string, and our finger's going to back flex and go through the string. That is called a rest stroke. The use of a rest stroke is to bring out melody lines or fast passages that you may need for scales, such as like if you were doing a C major 2-octave scale, you would go. You would hit the string and fall through to the next string. Or if you're playing a song like Lagrima, right, we're going to rest stroke the melody, which would be right. So we're going to rest stroke the melody. We're only going to use those to bring out melody. What's another good thing about this is if you are an electric player with a pick, you can do the same thing. So what we're going to do is take the pick, and instead of picking up like this, we're going to pick across the string into the next string. So if I demonstrate it, let's see right here, it's going to hit the next string over. Whereas if I hit it just up, it's not as powerful as, see, we're bringing it out. The next stroke I want to teach you is called the tirando, or the free stroke. And different from the rest stroke, this is used to bring out accompaniment, chords, or any sort of thing you want to leave behind the melody. So when we're playing chords, we're going to rest stroke these. So if I play an E major chord, nothing's really coming out. If I wanted to bring out a melody when doing this, I would, if I can, I would bring out the high E. I would rest stroke it with the bass note. Right. To achieve this tirando or free stroke, instead of tilting back and to bring our knuckle correctly upon the string, we're going to tilt it forward. And what that does is bring our finger a little closer, and we're not gonna push it up, we're just gonna move it across the string, and we're gonna kind of use the middle joint a little bit, but not curved, just push it down a little bit. It's gonna be crooked, like a little hook. And we're going to ever so slightly just move it up. We're gonna get away from the strings. We're not going to bring it up. We're just gonna move it across the string to make it vibrate. Back to what I was saying about playing with scales for rest stroke. You want to have an even exchange between I and M. Make sure that when M plays, I goes up, and vice versa. So if I played a C major scale and you looked at my right hand by I and M, when M plays, I is prepared, or when I plays, M is prepared, and so forth. It's very much an exaggeration of what you would do because you don't want to move too far up or else it will not create speed. But practicing the even flow of exchange, however far M goes, I must go up, however far I goes, M must go up. So that is the even exchange motion of it. You want to make sure that you're going I, M, or M, I. You don't want to go I, M, I, M. You don't want to repeat a finger when you're doing fast passages like this. With the thumb technique, you want to have, like I said, your thumb away from your fingers so you're not hitting the index finger when you're plucking, so they're away from your finger. And to pluck the thumb, it's a different motion than the rest of the fingers. You're going to use the big knuckle, yes, but you're going to move it in a circle like this. You can think of it like it's going counterclockwise. You're not moving it this way. So if I moved it, it's moving backwards, not forwards. And what that's going to look like is I'll play a low E, and it's going to circle back and then touch the string again. Right. Now you can do a rest stroke with the thumb, but the way to do that, you might have to shift your hand and bring it to the next string, which makes it louder. So if you have a melody on the bass note, you could have, if you don't want to bring it out, you can just play it normally. Like so. To make sure that you get the nail with the thumb, mine is very long because I have a short thumb compared to if you move the nail, I have a short thumb compared to my fingers. And I got this technique from Jason Vio, so thank you, Jason. If you don't want to have your thumb this way, or where it's kind of aligned with the string, because your thumbnail is never going to touch the string. What you want to do is bring it up so that your thumb at an angle, kind of at a 45-degree angle, always hits the string. That way your thumb will always bring out the bass. Lastly, we need to talk about the arpeggio technique of planting. This is a very, not difficult technique, but it is complicated at first, so be very generous with yourself when you're learning. So if we take a Giuliani right hand study from the 120 studies, let's say we pick 2 and 3 off the top of my head. I could be wrong about that, so in post I'll make sure I'm right. I believe the second one, you're going P, I, M for the C major chord. So we'll just do it on C, and E. The way I think about this is a staircase motion. So if my P is on the 5th string, C, my I finger is on the 2nd string, C, and my M finger is on the high string, E, and I'm playing it and I'm planting them simultaneously. In my mind, they kind of look like a staircase. One is at the bottom, next one is the I, and the next one is in. So, the way I think about this is if you're going up the stairs, so 1, 2, 3, 4, you're going to, if you only, say we're just doing P-I-M, we're going 1, 2, 3. That means all 3 of these strings need to plant before we play a note. Especially if P plays. We want to make sure that I and M are planted. However, if we're going down the stairs, say we're going P, M, I, think of these like stairs, if we're going P, M, I, we're only going to plant P and M. And I believe this is in study 3. Correct me if I'm wrong, editor. So if it's a P, M, I scale, we're only going to plant P and M, and then I plays, and when I plays, P and M are gonna hit the string before they play, and then we're gonna. When you go fast, the planting will kind of disappear, but this is how you achieve fast playing arpeggios. So if I were to play, my fingers are preparing before they play the chord. When P plays, I, M, and A are already prepared to play their strings. That is what planting is. So when you look at these studies, if they're going up the stairs, like we were talking about, if they're going I, M, or P-I-M, P-I-M-A, that way, just up the stairs, you want to plant as many fingers as you can. So if it's P-I-M-A, you plant all 4 fingers. If it's P-I-M, you plant all 3 fingers. If it's going in a weird direction, if you're jumping around, or if you're going downwards, say you're going P-A-M-I, you're only going to plant P and A, and then M and I will play, and then plant again. Because the reason you do this is because if you're doing a P-A-M-I pattern, and you plant all of them, your fingers are going to get jumbled up together. So if I played that, it would be, if I planted, it feels wrong, it feels hard, and it's not very useful it feels too much tension in your right hand. So thinking of it like a staircase will help you a lot. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you learned a lot. If you have any questions about the right hand position, please feel free to drop it in the comments. I will have another video about nails and tone production coming out very soon, so keep an eye out for that. We'll go over how to create a good tone with your nails and a good shape for them, and I hope to see you soon. So thank you very much. Have a good day.